So hi, welcome to Good Nights Podcast. We're with the Ivins. We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. So what inspired you guys to start the project?
So we started, my brother and I was living in New York City back in 2012 through 2014. We were playing in another band, which was aptly called the Jim Ivins Band, which is funny that Jack also played in that band. Amongst his friend circles, it was known as the Jack Ivins Band. And, that was more of a kind of acoustic, pop rocky kind of a project. It was more like Goo Goo Dolls, like Gin Blossoms, and kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And I moved to New York, and I just, it was, it helped, the guys that we were playing with, so Jack was living in DC. He'd ride the bus up to New York to do shows, because I was like, I'll just get another drummer while, we're doing this. And he was like, no! Jack would take the bus up to New York to play gigs, and the guys that ended up being in our band, they just had this really cool rock and roll aesthetic about them, and I was like, I want to put this acoustic guitar down. I want to crank up. Like, I just want to write songs. I wanted to write songs that I wanted to hear our band play. You know what I mean? Like, these guys played so well, the four of us, and I was like, I just want to write songs that I want to hear us play. And so, the direction kind of went very, swaggery, sleazy, late night rock and roll with atmosphere. It was very much inspired by, Arctic Monkeys had just put out AM.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Love that album. Stereophonics, Language, Violence, Sex, Other is also one of my favorite albums of all time. And then This Is War, 30 Seconds to Mars. So I kind of wanted to see what it would be like if I put those three albums into a blender. And that's kind of what we came up with. And we're originally from Richmond, Virginia. So we...
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, so we left New York, moved back home for a little bit. And then 4 years ago, we moved to Nashville completely on a whim.
Oh.
That's an interesting move.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interesting. So Hatton, our lead guitar player, he went to high school, or I guess went to K through 12 school with me and Jack.
Oh.
And we were always kind of in touch. We were never really close back then. We were always kind of in touch because we knew Hatton was this amazing guitar player. And Hatton called Jack out of the blue one day and was like, hey, I just got out of grad school. I think I'm going to move to Nashville. You want to come with me? And Jack still had some things going on in DC. And he was like, who you should call? You should call Jim. And I was preparing a move back to New York, and Hatton called me out of the blue and was like, hey, I'm about to drop everything and move to Nashville. You want to do that? You know anything about Nashville? And I was like, I've never really been there. I don't know anything about it. Let's go.
Why not? Yeah.
All right.
And I was 27. I was like, I think I got another crazy move left in me. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. I'd never lived with Hatton before. I didn't have a job. I took an apartment sight unseen. Hatton and I did. We lived together. And we just figured it out. And we met Reagan about 6 months after we moved here. He's our bass player, and I couldn't love it anymore. So, extremely long-winded answer to a very simple question. That is the essence of me.
All
Wow.
right.
Says a
Okay.
lot about that's great. Just on a whim. You just that's crazy. I want to live like that. Okay. So, congrats on your upcoming. Oh.
I don't recommend it for everyone, but it can be exhilarating.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh my god. So congrats on your upcoming release, Bloom. How do you feel about the response to it so far to the people you've shown it to, since at the time of recording it isn't out yet?
Yes, so we are taping this on Tuesday the 27th. It comes out Friday the 30th.
Yes.
Everyone we've shown it to really, really likes it. It occupies an interesting space, both sonically and lyrically, that, sonically, we kind of try and push rock forward every time we write something. We spent 2 years in Nashville making an album, the follow-up to our 2017 album, The Code Duello, and the week it got mastered, quarantine started.
Oh.
So that got shelved, and then in quarantine we inadvertently wrote another album, and so Bloom is the Composure, which came out in July, was like the first single from that, and then back in. And we're gonna have new singles every couple months for a while. But I say all of this because with all of us writing together and just the creativity has been flowing so much. We're trying to bring our sound forward every time, but this song has kind of a throwbacky kind of a musical vibe to it. Everyone says, it sounds like like the early 2000s. And normally I would hate that, but in this case, I actually really enjoy it. It's got a nice head bobby bounce to it. And then lyrically, so much of art right now is about the negative side of love. And I'm in a very serious committed relationship. And I wanted to write a song about how, you can be a very lost person like I was. And all it takes is, one person, one connection to kind of turn your whole life around. And that's what happened to me. And so I wanted to put that into a song. And that's what we came out with.
All right.
Sorry, it sounded like
Very
Jack.
wholesome.
Were you going to say something? Okay, yes, no.
Doesn't know. So is there any?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what was the question. I couldn't hear it.
How do you feel the response to Bloom to the people you've shown it to so far?
Yeah, everybody's been pretty stoked on it. It's got a really cool, the riff that kind of drives the song gets stuck in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been positive. Actually, while we're on the phone, I just got an email saying it was getting playlisted for some stuff when it comes out. So
Oh, congrats.
yeah, so that's hopefully it's all good things. We're redheads that made it through middle school, so we've got pretty thick skin. So
Yeah.
we can take some negative shots about the music and without it affecting us, but I haven't gotten any yet. So
All right.
Mhm.
at least with this.
Yeah.
So is there any meaning behind the single art or name?
Behind meaning behind Bloom?
Yeah.
There is actually. So first off, my girlfriend's last name happens to be Bloom.
Oh.
So I kind of used that as a metaphor for, like I said, the song is about being a very lost and kind of aimless person and not really knowing where life is going to take you. And so the chorus says, you are the water that made all my dead leaves grow and cleanse them from poison to thrive and bloom. And that's kind of the central meaning behind the song.
Yeah. That's very wholesome. I like that. And the cover art?
So the cover art, when I was living in DC, Jim was talking about earlier, and we had a band in New York. I also was playing in bands in Baltimore, DC, and Richmond, and I was just pinballing it across the Mid-Atlantic. And my guitar player, there's a band in Baltimore, it's a hard rock band. It's called Knightsbridge. And the lead guitarist in that is also an awesome graphic designer. And so his name's David. And David has actually designed a couple pieces of art for us, as well as we put a show on in Nashville called Grunge Night, where we have the last one was 80 musicians that are from all different walks of life, different genres. And you can be in a local band that nobody's heard of, or you play, drums for Florida Georgia Line, or for Three Doors Down, or
your Chris Daughtry,
or your Chris Daughtry, or somebody. Yeah. And so David actually originally had been designing artwork for those shows, and then I gave him our last song, was called Composure. And I gave him that, and he just kind of he listened to it, and then he got a vibe, and then made the art for it. And then we were going to release Bloom, and we really loved the art that he did for Composure. So I was like, David, kind of keep the same theme as you did, but just listen to the song. And he was like, I'll listen to it, and I'll make something that I think represents it. It was his own take on Bloom. So yeah. So I gave him full. I kind of do this when I go get a haircut. I'm like, hey, you're the pro. You do whatever looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave, I was like, Dave, you're the graphic artist that designs shit for all kinds of people. You get a vibe and go with your impulse. And luckily, we all really liked what he did. So.
Yeah. I was talking to Shane before the interview. It really caught my eye when you guys sent it to me. It's so pretty. I love it so much. It fits very, very well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Of course, yeah. So, can you tell me about your writing process for this single?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Jack and I have been playing music together for about 8 or 10 years now, and the process has evolved every time. The Co-Duello was just Jack and I, and so a lot of times it would, I kind of look at our band like we're the United Nations, but I'm America. Everything. We'll say pre-2016.
Okay.
How about, basically that everything is equal. Everyone contributes and everything, but there's kind of someone who's louder than everybody else that tends to drive the conversation, and that would be me. So back when Jack and I wrote the Co-Duello, a lot of it would come from me, and then Jack's instincts are very. He acts very much like a producer. Like I feel like I'm more of the writer, and Jack thinks more like a producer. So I'll give Jack a song, and he'll be like, this riff needs to change here, and you need to shorten this, pre-chorus here, and then maybe let's change the key, and then let's do this. And so like they're all kind of very macro ideas, and I feel like I work very micro, and that's why Jack and I work so well together. And then moving to Nashville and having Hatton and Reagan join the band, we'd never really had a situation where we wrote like as a band. And as it's gone on, oddly enough, COVID and quarantine, we've been more productive than we've ever been just doing songs over email. And they're on this kind of upcoming album, collection of singles, what have you. All four of us have songs that started with that person. So I think, right now it's like I have 4, and Jack, Ray, and Hatto all have 2. And, so it kind of, it changes every time, but that's what keeps it exciting. We're all in our early 30s, or Ray's in his late 20s because he's the baby of the band. But, I didn't know that, the process would or could evolve as I went on, but it keeps changing, and we love it. So Bloom started with me. I wrote kind of the meat and potatoes of the song, and then the biggest change that happened in the middle was Hatton had a guitar solo idea, but he was like, yeah, but this is how it should go before, so that like Dennett, that part before that came from him. And then Ray and Jack, they're such a tight rhythm section, and like I write temp parts for them, but I'm always like, you guys, whatever you guys do is going to be way better than what I come up with, but so just go and do whatever. And so Jack and Ray, they really brought that rhythm section to life. And then I true to Jack's producer instincts, I wrote I write all the lyrics and the melodies and everything, and then I sent it in, and Jack, it was funny, his normal note is you have too many words. And for the first time ever, he was, I think you need more words.
Oh my God.
I was like, is that so? Really, Mr. I have too many words. So this time he requested more words.
Oh.
And Jack operates a lot over voice memos. And so Jack, you definitely recall doing this, I imagine. You just sent me this voice memo that just goes like, so I think you should sing like, da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. And I was like, all right, I can do that. So I rewrote I kind of expanded the lyrics, rewrote the melody, and it was way better. So I like how collaborative our band has become.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that's awesome.
So this question should be like super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this single for new listeners in 3 words. Both of you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Jack, you're quicker on your feet. You go first.
Terrible at these. Throwback vibes.
We'll make throwback 2
Throwback
words.
vibes.
We
Yeah.
can make it 2 words. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's calm down.
Okay. I would say bounce, anthem, sex.
Okay.
All right.
Solid. Okay. So you keep mentioning this collection of singles, maybe an album, the 2 albums you wrote. So can you tell us about that? What can you tell us? Can you tell us everything? Please tell us everything.
Yeah, so basically, we have a 13-song record that was finished. The masters came back like the day before everything shut down.
Yeah.
Which was so depressing because we've been working on it for like 2 years, and it was like we're finally ready, and we had stuff lined up, and all that went kaput. And so the first couple months of quarantine, we were just sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves, like every other musician. I mean, we live in Nashville, so like there's thousands and thousands of people that are off the road. But then we were like, we got to start writing, man. And we write a lot anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just we wrote one song, and then by the time we'd finished, we hadn't even finished the first one. We already had ideas for like 5 other ones. And now what we're kind of think we're going to do is, instead of releasing, we don't want to just put out the record we worked so long for.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have that record good to go, and we're shopping it. But in the meantime, we've recorded several singles. And so what we're loosely, our plan is that we're going to put out a single 1 month, and then month 2 put out a corresponding video, and then month 3 put out a new single, month 4 corresponding video, and then keep doing that.
Yeah.
And we might not do a video every time. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But like as of right now, we have a single good to go in December and a single good to go in February. And if we want to record a couple other ones, if we don't do the accompanying videos, we could start putting out one a month. It's more like if you can get enough, get it to enough people, if 1 month is enough time, because it's like, you start doing lead up and sending out press stuff. At least you want to start doing that close to a month before it comes out. In a perfect world, it's 3 months, but and these are weird times. So so once a month might be a little much, but we've got almost another whole record's worth of material, and we were like, screw it, let's just start putting out singles, man. So that's what we've been.
And then again, we have this other album that is amazing. We did it with a guy named Michael Zusso. He's a friend of ours. He actually is Luke Combs' sound engineer. And we got it, and we worked with a guy named Robert Venable to mix it. He is now he works for Kelly Clarkson after having done her Piece by Piece album. And so that record is called Conditions. And it's not a concept album, but it's basically, I had kind of a nervous breakdown a couple years ago at the same time as I was having this very serious relationship happen, the first and only really serious relationship I'd ever been in. It's kind of like how those two worlds square with each other. And the whole record is about, kind of anxiety, and you would think it's the perfect album for 2020. And it's basically sonically we decided, let's take the Coduello's sound, and if you put that on a spectrum, if rock was on this side and kind of poppier stuff was on this side, let's take it and just stretch it out. And so rock songs got harder, the poppy songs got poppier, and then there's this middle ground of stuff that we'd never done before. And so it's really exciting, and I really want people to hear it. And this new batch of songs is just building on that. And so we strive to take rock forward with everything that we do, and so that's kind of our goal.
All right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So excited.
So
crazy.
Speaking of goals, where do you guys see the band in the next 5 years?
I would have had
world dominate.
We want to be the biggest band in the world. So
As you should.
I agree. There are too many people who, even when they attain success, they're like, but I didn't really want it, and I don't like
I didn't expect this.
And I'm like, then fine, get the hell out of my way. I'll take the spot right now, because we want our music to reach as many people as possible. You think about your life, and you think about those bands to you, and those those artists that mean so much to you, and that every lyric, every song, every album you hang on, and they're your band. That's what I want to be to people. I put so much into this music, we all do, and I just want to be able to affect people the way that bands like Oasis and The Early November and Radiohead and Blink and all those bands affect me. So that's what I want. So in 5 years, I hope that we are out of this hellscape that 2020 is, and that
nice.
We can be engaging with as many people as possible and affecting people, and just seeing it grow.
Hell yeah.
Solid. Excited. All right. So for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go straight to death row then. So, if
Sorry,
you're
what?
on death, we're going to go to death row.
Sorry, I
Boom.
did not anticipate that that's what you were gonna say. So
Oh yeah, it's all good. So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Mega boom.
Man, I would get real gluttonous, which is kind of how I am in general. But I would probably go bone in, T-bone, full rack of ribs, and like an Outback Caesar salad, and then like a salad. Like they got pretty solid baked potatoes too. Yeah, and you know, one of their loaves of bread or two of their loaves of bread. So.
Oh.
This is gonna sound like copycatting, but Jack almost gave my exact answer. So I'm just gonna say it. So I would have a 20-ounce ribeye with some real buttery, garlicky mashed potatoes, a big old thing of mac and cheese, and rum and Coke that you can fit in a big gulp.
Oh, I didn't say,
Whoa,
Yeah.
a big gulp. Okay.
I would definitely want a light beer, like a case of light beer to go with it. And then if I'm gonna die, I might as well get hammered. So I just like slug whiskey too. I don't know.
Why not? Why not?
Okay, so you might kill yourself before they can get to you.
That sounds.
No, great
Take
meal, drink.
Yeah.
If I could
Why
eat
not?
and drink myself to death before they can actually put me to death, that seems like it's like a slightly better. Hey,
That's a win.
Exactly. You're going out on your own terms.
I will
Yeah.
also say Jim's answer is pretty funny because he's pescatarian. So for him to say that his last meal is going to be a steak, that's actually pretty hilarious.
Because I remember what it was like.
So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
One fictional world.
Yeah?
Man. Okay. That is a good question. A fictional world. I would say Imagination Land from South Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so before everything goes to shit, let's live in Imagination Land and take that hot air balloon out there.
Yeah.
I
that'd be
I don't know if
good.
I would survive it, but I think I would go hang out in Patty's Pub with all the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes,
Good
we
answer.
haven't gotten that yet. Thank you so much. That's a great answer.
I'd probably be dead by the end of the week, though.
Yeah.
From that show got weirder and weirder as the seasons went on. But,
Yeah.
so I'd hang out in Patty's Pub around like season 3.
Yeah,
Taste.
that's
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Who do you think you'd like try to stick around the most in the gang?
Oh my God. Well, season 3, Frank is actually pretty level-headed, and he's still got
Yeah,
all his-
exactly.
So I'm
Frank
hanging
and
out
Charlie
with-
are like level-headed.
Headed.
Yeah, and Dennis hadn't become a serial killer,
Not yet.
although he was still a sociopath.
Yeah.
Mac is such a tool always, and then Charlie, season 3 is wildcard Charlie, I think.
He's kind of like he's
he's-
nearing the edge of just like completely losing it. So like
Yeah. Hasn't
yeah.
turned into a cartoon yet.
mhm.
I don't know. Hey, Jim's a connoisseur. That hey, were Frank and Charlie living together in season 3?
Yeah, they moved in like season 2.
Like pretty much right away.
Well, I definitely don't want to live in that.
No.
I'm not staying at any of their houses. I'm staying at like the
Well, Dee's house isn't bad.
Yeah, Disney Park, Frank's mansion. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah. I'll stay at Frank's mansion with his ex-wife.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz that's before she dies too. So,
Yeah.
good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
With Bruce.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Solid. I love that answer so much. So, I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has said it's the most important question.
Okay.
What's your guys' favorite color?
Blue.
Easy. Green.
Blue, green. Wonderful colors.
So
What's yours? We're flipping
Yellow.
the conversation.
black.
Yellow. What is it?
Black.
Because it's dominant. Because it encompasses all colors.
Yes. Sure.
What about you, Glory?
Yellow.
I like yellow.
Yellow's
I think
very good.
Old person to wear yellow. I think that reflects well on your personality.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, as Glory said, that is all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
So we have a single called Bloom that I guess by the time this comes out will be out. We put out a song called Composure in July, and then we put out a cover of Graveyard by Halsey earlier this year, which is kind of a reimagining that I actually quite enjoy. So I think more people should hear that. And then we're going to have new singles and videos every couple months, just like Jack said.
All right.
And everything is at the Ivins.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with us, guys. This has been the Ivins, and we are the Good Noise Podcast.